Hello, friends. You're welcome to the Wise Builders and My Godly Spouse online weekly platform. My name is Reverend Dolapo Agoradeni. I'm a pastor, I'm a lawyer, and I'm a relationship coach. Is there anything bothering you? Life comes with some challenges sometimes. If you want to rub minds or you want confidential advice, are you single? Do you want to marry? Do you want me to vet your relationship for you? Don't fall a victim. You know, where children of God are, the children of the other side are as well. So, if you know you want to do things right, or you've made a mistake and you want counseling, sometimes quitting is not the best way forward. You need to fight it out in a very godly way. You need a godly counsel. So speak to me after the show. My numbers are on the platform and how you contact me. Thank you very much. Looking forward to see you. Sit back. Enjoy this show. It comes weekly on Wednesdays, and I trust you will not regret your time. God bless you all. Thank you. Hey, good evening, friends. Good evening, good evening. Happy Wednesday and happy to see you all. Good evening. I'm so excited to be here today, and I thank the Lord for His grace and manifold blessings upon me, upon you, upon our households, and upon each and every one of us. It's good to see you tonight. God bless you. This is the Wise Builders. It's a weekly talk show, a Christian platform for godly marriages, for doing things right. From the name, it's Wise Builders, that we are building wisely, and we are doing it. It's not the wise builder, it's Wise Builders. We are all building, and there's no one that builds upon the rock that the tide of this world can sweep away. So we have to build upon the rock of the Word of God. And by the grace of God, the Lord will help us in Jesus' name. So if tonight is the first time you're joining me on this platform, my name is Reverend Dolapo Agoro. And if you are one of the returnees, my friends, family, the Lord bless you. Thank you. Stay tuned. Please share this. It's very, very vital and important. And I'll try to put as much information together because of pertinent questions that keeps coming up. I've actually been on this. One or two people have asked me similar questions on a one-to-one since about a month or two ago. So I made up my mind I was going to treat it generally. So it'll be very beneficial for some of us, it'll be beneficial for some of our friends and family. So keep it handy, share it on your platform. So tonight we are talking about, I think it's second marriages and investments generally. Second marriages and our investments. You see, there's a lot of names that will have named. I just try to coin it in a way that is going to encompass a lot of issues. But basically, it's talking about second marriages, investment, wills, and baggages, and how we take care of ourselves and things that we should expect in our second marriages as we we move on in life. This is life, and we do life. Sometimes when we're overtly religious, like I always say, we always just think, oh, why are they planning for these things? Nobody's planning that your marriage is going to break. But whether you like it or not, there are few people that for one reason or the other, their second marriages they are in their second marriage. For one reason or the other, the first marriage did not work. Whether we put on that judgment cap or we sit on the seat of God to try and judge people and we think we know better, but life does happen to people. Things do happen. And when it does happen, what do we do? The most important thing the Bible talks is my people perish for lack of knowledge, lack of understanding. And another thing I want us to understand tonight is because some people's marriage do not work, doesn't mean they are failures. It's just that things happen. But why we are talking about things like this is whether you like it or not. Some people that have married once and are embarking on the second or subsequent marriage, there are important things for them to understand. It's quite different when we are going to the first marriage. We're so naive, we're young, we're single, and we're very free, free as the bird. So anything that happens, yeah, it happens. But as time goes on, we build on baggages. Things happen from residues from our previous relationship, our spouse, and a prospective spouse coming from another relationship. Please drop your comment button when you are there. Let me know you are there. Let's make it very interactive. Ask me questions. I'm going to try to answer you by the grace of God. So, hi, Instagram family. God bless everyone that's watching us and as you're going to watch me after now. So, let's crack on tonight. We haven't got too much time to waste. So, without much ado or further ado, let us just go straight to the point. So, whether we like it or not, like I stated earlier on, things happen. So, but what are the things? This is kind of in-depth and intense tonight, and I'll try and touch base on everything. So there's some legal points that you need to consider. Most of the time that actually this question or this topic came about twice. The first instance, there's a lady that is contemplating going to another relationship, and then she just got some investment, and she said to me, "Oh, woman of God, what do I do? I'm scared. I don't know what's going to happen." So I tried to talk her through a few things, and I said to her, "Give me some time. I will try and find a time to slot this in." And after that, I'd traveled, a lot of things had happened, but I'm back, and I just feel I should do justice to it. So there are circumstances surrounding our second marriage, and most of the time, like I said, most of it are kind of complicated. Second marriages are complicated. Let me tell you, whether you like to know or not, they are quite complicated. So you fall in love. It's good to fall in love, but let us prevent things from happening. And for the sake of those that think, "Oh, I'm going to my second marriage, nothing will go wrong." Remember, your first marriage went wrong. Some things happened. I'm not praying that your second marriage is going to go wrong. What I'm trying to say is prepare this time. And there are issues to consider because you are a product of a failed marriage or a broken marriage or an ended marriage, a failed marriage or relationship or divorce, or that your spouse died. The most important thing is, so when we're talking about second marriages, it's not only all of them that are divorced, some never actually properly married, some are divorced, some are widowed or whatever, but the most important thing is they're going to second time relationship. So there are circumstances that surround it that make it complicated at the first time. Sometimes, for example, the most important thing, there are children from previous relationships that you have to consider. There are assets that you have acquired in the course of your journey, whether in the previous relationship, whether your late spouse left it for you, whether it's part of your hard work, whatever, that you have accrued them along the way, and you've acquired some of them, including property, savings, investments, pensions, and businesses. People don't, to be honest with you, people don't think about these things, especially investments and pension. It is part of your assets, So we have to think about all these things. So if you've gone through a divorce, you can understand that relationship do break down. And even if you have not gone through a divorce, if yours is your spouse passed on, the fact remains that you have seen around you that they are divorced. And there are several reasons for divorce nowadays: incompatibility, people not putting Christ at the forefront, or selfish interest, or just irreconcilable differences. Things just happen. Let's not speculate about the reason why any marriage breaks down or not. That's not the purpose of tonight. What I just want to highlight there for you to understand that things just happen. So, and then another thing I want you to understand, you will understand how stressful and painful divorce process or proceedings can be. I've got two friends that gone through divorce recently with property in between them. One said it cost him over £40,000. Yes, the litigation can get so expensive with children, with custody, with a lot of things. Another one said it cost him about maybe 32 or 31,000 with receipts. So it can get messy, and then it drags. Sometimes it takes 4 years, Sometimes it takes 2 years, sometimes it takes a year. It just shows how complicated it can be. So, especially when it comes to certain finances and assets, this is when it gets a divorce. You can end any divorce within 3 months. It doesn't need to get elongated, but it gets really complicated when we have assets and properties involved. So I want you to do whatever you can do. Let's not be myopic at this time. Do whatsoever you can do to avoid stress and ensure that you are fully protected. And that's the reason why I'm doing this. This is what people pay for, but I'm giving it to you free. Make sure, because a lot of people are asking me this. And like I said, times are changing. Knowledge is abounding. We know better. So think and do what you think is going to protect you in the event of another divorce or death of a spouse, God forbid. So the financial implication of a second marriage can be severe. It can be very severe, rather. It can be very severe, rather, and need to be considered before you go into it. So marrying again, let's make it in a very simple balances. Marrying again means you're making difficult emotional, financial, and legal decisions, whether you like it or not. That is second marriages. So I want you to bear in these few issues in mind as we go on. The first thing is how, and I'm going to throw a question at you. So drop your comment and question and thumbs up if you are there. If I to appreciate, but I'm really speeding tonight. I want to go through as much before you start asking your questions. But feel free, like I always say, to pause me. Don't eject me, because if you eject me, I'll be out of the screen. Just pause me, and ask questions, or just type in your questions. I'll flag it up. And by the grace of God, we'll do justice. And I believe as many of us are online that experience as well, we'll drop our comment and we'll do justice. So one of the things I want you to understand is why are forced marriages, which I try to touch base a bit about, why are remarriages different from forced marriages? The first one is personal affairs. You have been through the stress of the end of a marriage. Like I said, so you are older now than you were when you first married. So you must be thinking. That's the difference between it. Because people say to me, what's the difference? Pastor, marriage is marriage. Now, you are more matured. You've acquired a lot of baggages. And you should be thinking of safeguarding your future. Whether you are married in your first marriage or second intending to go into a second marriage, the mere fact that when you are over 30s, in your 40s, and some of you in your 50s, talk less of 60s, you must be thinking of safeguarding your future. Anyone in their 40s that you are not thinking of safeguarding your future, is like you're playing games. You're gambling with your life, and life is not like that. So, I know one thing about all Christians. There's a comment, let me flag it. Okay, thank you, sir. I know one thing about us Christians is the fact that, oh, yes, we believe and we pray. But let me tell you something, things do happen. Not that we're better off than them, or they are worse off, or they are sinners. Things just happen, which is only God. We know in part when we get to the kingdom, the Lord will explain why some of our journey are like that. And the journeys of a Christian as well, sometimes they are torn in the flesh. You don't know, there are things that just happen along the journey of a man that you cannot really explain, but God knows best. So what I'm trying to say is, it's high time we start safeguarding our lives. So first one that you have to think about that is different, that is not your first marriage, is children from previous relationships. You have to consider them in terms of assets and their inheritance. We are going deep into it. I'm building up to where we are going, but I'd like to give us preamble. I have to kind of incorporate everything in my lecture when I'm teaching or I'm speaking. So we have to think of these children and the asset. Remember, some of them, maybe they are late. Let's assume you are married, a widow or a widower. Maybe the husband or wife left something. Okay, bless you, bless you. I know it's been long. God bless you. There's a comment on Instagram that I'm going to read out in a minute. So some of them, maybe they left an asset or something for them that they are bringing in, and their children. Let's assume your wife, you want to marry, and she's a divorcee, and there's something she's bringing into your home. You have to think about it. And those children is their inheritance, is their assets. It is theirs. So I'm reading a comment from Instagram. Anupoju, marriage is not just marriage. I think mixed family need to speak to a counselor before marriage. Thank you very much. Marriage is not just marriage, oh. We have to speak to counselors. We have to plan. Let's stop being naive. Let's stop plunging into things. Ask. I was speaking to a man yesterday at a one-to-one meeting, a director of a big organization. There was a one-to-one meeting, and he said the problem with us is we don't ask. And the Bible says, ask, and you shall receive. Seek, you will find. Knock, and you'll be open. When we don't ask, we don't know. So there are things about assets. There are things that we have to. There are even liabilities that are pending and hanging on people that you have to think about. So the second thing in legal affair, upon your second marriage, you need to create a will. We are going into that in a minute, but let me just touch base on that. You have a will before. Most people don't know that. Second marriages invalidate that will. Any existing will that you have before, no matter how robust it is, the moment you enter a second marriage, it becomes void. People don't know that, and hear that and write it down as I'm telling you. I've got a will before. You got a will before your spouse passed on or you divorce, it invalidates it. If you don't enter into a new marriage, fair enough. If you enter into a new marriage, it invalidates it. So it becomes void once you remarry. So, and it's necessary, you want to provide for your new spouse and children from previous marriage. So that's very important. So financial affairs is another issue that is different to what was on ground before. So you have to think of how your finances will change, whether you like it or not. New marriage, new responsibilities. Remember, your spouse might be bringing a child or children from their previous marriages as well. So let's say, for example, I want to remarry now. I've got children, and I want to marry another one that's got children. So we have to think about how that is going to affect us. You have properly acquired more assets over time, including property, business, pension, investment, even money from divorce settlements. These are money, these are things. And when it comes to marriage, there has to be disclosure. You have to disclose, you have to talk about it. So, and now this takes us to what is called prenuptial arrangement, which I want to talk about tonight. So a lot of couples settle for something called prenuptial arrangement when they are going into second marriages. Yes, I'll talk about prenuptial arrangement. Prenuptial arrangement, otherwise called prenups. Maybe you've heard about people say, prenup. I entered a prenup arrangement, or it's good to do a prenup. Usually they call it prenup, but it's called prenuptial arrangement. It's a written contract, please. Signed, prenup is a good way to go. Thanks. I know just alluded to that on Instagram, that it's a good one. I remember I was speaking with a friend some months ago or thereabout, and we're talking about prenup, and the person was looking at me like unbeliever, and I laughed. I said, my people perish for lack of knowledge. I'm not saying, because sometimes your spouse may think, oh, she's selfish or he's selfish, or he doesn't understand, or you are not religious, or you are not a Christian. We are all Christian, but we're in this world. And like I said, life does happen, because whatever makes marriage break is what makes you to put things in place. If it's broken once, God forbid it will not break again, but it's better. It doesn't cost you anything if you prepare. Like, it's just like life insurance. I was saying to somebody, doing life insurance doesn't mean you're going to die. A lot of Christians say, God forbid, God is my insurance. We know. What are you leaving behind for your children if anything happens? So that they will not start doing GoFundMe. It's good if your friends put together GoFundMe for you, but that should not be, have been messed up before. So maybe that's what's giving me the compassion to speak to people, to liberate them. Because lack of planning messes us up so much when we leave things hanging. So a prenuptial arrangement, if I want to go back to it, is a contract that's signed before couples get married. So it is designed to set out what a couple would like to happen. Listen, to your assets, to your possessions, should marriage break down. Now, I'll give you a good example. A friend of mine, maybe last year or so, thereabout, we're just chatting generally, just off record, and I was talking to her at home. She's in another part of the country. We're just talking. So I heard the sound of a baby, kind of an infant, And I know this is, Hodi is like she's in her early 50s. And I heard the sound of an infant in her house. And I'm like, my friend, what's, have you got a baby? What's happening? And she's like, it's not, it's my friend's child. So I won't say the circumstances surrounding that child, that friend. So basically, this is a very good friend that got married, second marriage, and the guy wanted a child badly. I think I shared it once or so on this. The guy wanted a child badly, and then they got a child. They adopted the child because she was past childbearing age. They adopted the child, and it was good. He gave the child love. I think less than 2 years or a year plus. I've not forgotten. The man just got fed up with the marriage, and he walked off or walked out of the marriage, and the lady saddled with that child. Do you understand? Thank God she's kind of well off because she's got a good job. But even that, can you imagine your 50s, a child that you have not planned for, you're starting all over again, another 18, 20 something years of commitment. So it just shows, I'm citing that to show that even second marriages does break down. Third marriages does break down. He plans. And these little things that we we scripturize or spiritualize, or we just kind of brush aside, are the major things that always cause problem. And that's why we find unbelievers all able to hold their homes and marriages than some of us. Do you know how much divorce is so thriving in Pentecostal homes, born again homes, because of lack of knowledge, because everything is spiritual and we are not giving it what is necessary. So prenuptial arrangement are not legally binding, though. Let me stress that. It's not legally binding, but it goes away. I will still speak about it. It kind of prepares the judge, and they use it sometimes when deciding on what path a decision will go. It's not legally, we use it because I got a prenup, a divorce. Oh, this is my prenup, and what is there is enforceable. No, but it prepares you. So it's if it's well drafted and fair enough, it's influential to the court, and often the judges will uphold it. Judges do uphold prenuptial agreements. Once it's well drafted, I'll give you the notes. Once it's like at least 28 days, I'll get there in a minute. At least 28 days before you're married, so that it's not being seen that it was done under duress or you did not know. So, and there are circumstances such as birth of a child, like I say, illnesses, disabilities, or falling apart that the judge will see. And then the judge might, because of that, deviate from any prenuptial. Any judge is not bound to uphold a prenuptial arrangement. But once it is well drafted, it protects so much. And it gives you that peace of mind because it enumerates the way you want things to be done. It clarifies things, So, and then the terms can be varied, to have effect on how the marriage proceeding will go and if lasted for a period of time. So what I'm trying to say is prenuptial agreement is good, but it's not compulsorily legally binding to any court during divorce. So you want to say, should I consider a prenuptial agreement for a second marriage? If you have been through divorce, you will be aware, like I said, how difficult. So one of the most difficult aspects of any divorce, if you've been through divorce and you have assets, is the assets aspect of it. Children, custody, and sorting out of assets. It takes 3-4 years, valuation, this and that, and it really gets messy. So most people remarrying are more realistic about the possibility. You see, once something has happened to you before, you will be realistic that it's possible again. We are not praying for it. So I know people that have gone through divorce now. When they are talking, they're like better prepared now. So when you are, most people that are realistic because of the possibility that any relationship, like I said, can come to an end. And importance of agreeing mutually. That's what I'm talking about. So during our courtship, let's talk about these things. Let's not pretend. I don't want, most of us, we don't want to rock the boat. I want to be good at tissue. You want to be good at tissue. I don't want him or her to think, I'm bad or I'm believer. A whole Pastor Dolly talking about prenuptial arrangement. A whole Bishop Mensa. Sorry if you are Mensa out there. I don't mean to. A whole bishop, any bishop or any pastor, talking about it. I remember there was a time I shared something like this on a Christian platform, and then one of the Goody Tushi pastors said, "Oh, we don't allow something like that here." I looked at them and I know what is going on in this area. I laughed. I said, my people perish for lack of knowledge. We like to put all this cloak and garment of righteousness, whereby we are not washing the inside, we're washing the outside. That's for another day. So if you to avoid everything breaking down, we should understand that you have to talk about it. So, like I said, it's not legally binding. And having said that, the courts will not dismiss it as well. Because you may be out there and saying, oh, it's not legally binding. Please drop your comments. It's not legally binding. So why am I doing it? The court will not dismiss it. They accept it. Once it is a good arrangement and it is drafted properly. So in the event that you disagree over money and property and you want to seek financial settlement in court, the judge will consider your prenuptial arrangement. So it's always good to sit down to say, okay, this is what I've got. This is what you've got. These are the things we're going to go there in a minute. These are the things that I want to go to my children. These are the things that I want to go to our children. Remember, you go into second marriages, you may decide to have children, which the terms changes completely. And then you may decide not to have children, but A and B's children becomes the new children. So their new identity in this new relationship. So we have to think about its financial settlement. Okay, I'm going to read a comment from Anuko. Thanks so much. Going into a second marriage means you have grown, matured, and have life experience. You have to be deliberate and have a clear arrangement, and that saves you a lot of nightmares. Thank you very, very much. That is maturity. It doesn't mean that we are thinking for what's to happen. It just shows maturity. To be honest with you, it shows that I've done things wrong before. I'm wiser now. This is life. This is life. Let's plan. What do you have? What do I have? How do we safeguard? We don't want bitterness in the home. We don't want these children messed up. I don't want your children messed up. We're bringing our children together. What do we do? What protection? What's on ground? What's our plan? Those are things. Let's just stop falling in and out of love and not thinking about things. I remember that woman asked me, we were strolling together, and she's just asked me that question, woman of God. I'm like, wow. I said, this is deep. So I started explaining to her, and then we kept on going on. And I said, don't worry, I'll make this a series. I'll teach it properly so that you understand, and then you can have resort to it once it's recorded like this. At any time, you can play it. So the courts will not, like I said, going back, thanks, Hanu, the courts will not dismiss any prenuptial arrangement, but when it comes to financial settlement, you want to agree on what both will do. So they will consider factors such as, did both partners enter the agreement voluntarily? So let's assume, God forbid, it will not happen to us in Jesus' name, but in case it happens, fall back to this, please. So now, once you plan it very well, it won't happen. You see, most of the issues that cause problem in marriage is money, sex, communication. These are the issues that causes. So let's deal with these issues so that we go with it. No hanky-panky, no scheming. Let's be very, very open and transparent. We are marrying because of love, not because of assets. But assets are things that we have acquired, and we're going to leave them whether we like it or not. We're not carrying them anywhere. It's our spirit and soul that goes. So let's deal with these earthly things properly. They belong here. Let's deal with them. So what we're trying to what we're trying to do, my my tablets nowadays does some magic. I think if you're listening to me, maybe you should come and buy me a new one. All of you that you're just listening to the wise bidder every time. Dolly needs a new iPad. Sorry. Right, sorry, it's just jumping. Don't know what's wrong with this today. Sugar. Sorry, beg your pardon. It's just jumped off. Don't know what's wrong with this. I might have to. Okay. Sorry, 1 second. It's just jumped to something else. Instagram, I think you're the one that's going to suffer for this. I have to use my other device. So unapologetically apologetic tonight. Oh, sorry. I know, and the rest, if you can join us on Facebook, would be nice. Apologies, I don't like this. It's so bad. But my high part is just jumping. It's just jumping from one. I think it's got one thing called a jumping spirit. Maybe we need to do some deliverance from, and maybe you guys will have to now. So thanks, Instagram. Apologies about that. Real apologies. Please join us on Facebook. It's the same name, Andu Dolakwa Goradeni. Let me, the good Lord Jesus rebukes the devil. Amen. Oh, the devil, God bless you all. So don't worry, I got you covered. Sugar. Right, sorry. It's now. So so talking about, yes, the second marriages. So it does happen in a situation whereby thank you very much. The marriage, whether we like it or not, it just comes, and then at the end of the day, the family or whatever we're doing, it would not happen. It would not allow us to go, and they do things. I'm just trying to do it. So what I'm talking about, the second marriage. So inheritance, like I said, can be so complicated. So whether we like it or not, the judge will look at this and remember where I am. God bless you. Thank you. Apologies everyone for bearing with me. Apparently he went to delete it. I just restored it. In fact, I'm not using this iPad again. Enough of it disgracing me. I need a new iPad. God provide for me. Apologies for that. So let's crack on. So basically, one of the things the judge will ask you, right? Did you agree into this voluntarily? That we're still talking about prenuptial marriage. So it's very essential. They'll ask you, okay, did you both agree voluntarily? Yes. Did you both understand the implication of these agreements that you've entered? You said yes. Are the terms of the agreement very fair? Let's assume you've set things very well. They'll ask A and B at the terms of the agreement. Okay, this is what we're going to do to the money. This is what we're going to do to the children. Then there will be, were there full disclosure of assets and liabilities from both parties? So when you are doing prenuptial, don't deceive yourself. Be very, very fair. Be very, very open. Did both parties sign the agreement willingly and without being pressurized? So once those questions are answered, the judge will admit it. Did both parties obtain legal advice? So before you go into prenuptial arrangement, it's not something that both of you will just say inside your room. Okay, we want to marry. We are doing a prenuptial arrangement. Dolapo and B and C on today. No, it has to be legally drafted by a solicitor. Go there, draft it so that they advise A and B. This is the implication. So if you have answered yes to all this, there's a likelihood that the court will uphold the agreement. Listen to me. It is not legally binding, but the court, on a compassionate ground, they do admit it. They will uphold it. So, but it is wise that you make sure that the terms of the agreement are really fair, and that your prenuptial arrangement is signed by you at least 28 days, like I said, before you marry. 28 days before you marry, a prenuptial arrangement has to be signed. So, because this allows for cooling off period, just in case she's forcing me to sign it, but I've got 28 days to clear my head to say, Dalakwa, you want to sign your life away, this thing and that. So once you have planned it properly and the judge realized that it is well drafted, it is fair, the agreement was signed by both of you, you had legal advice before going into it, there's 28 days cooling off period, and you were not pressurized, otherwise called signed under duress, as in you're not pressurized to do it, then the judge will make it clear and it will last, and then the judge will uphold the agreement for you. So you assist so much. So a prenuptial agreement is a very good thing. So now let's move on, because of time, to the main topic, which is the same thing. Everything leads to the other, which is the second marriages and inheritance. So like I said earlier on, please drop your comment, ask questions. Okay, there's something somebody has asked. Oh, bless you. Thank you. The Lord bless you. Thank you very, very much. I know Luapo, God bless you. This is a very good one that she's written. Thanks. I thought you'll be so disappointed on Instagram and you will not be here. Thank you so much. So please, I need every of my friends come together or individually. I need a new iPad. That my iPad finally disgraced me tonight. In fact, they'll be using it to watch Cartoon Network from today. Pastor Dolly, there's also an agreement that you need to have with the new spouse who has young children living with their ex. Know and discuss exactly how the children will be cared for and child support given to the ex. Thank you so much. Full disclosure is very important to prevent marital problem that will definitely occur if a spouse does not treat an ex-wife or husband as an ex. Let me read that again so that we can all understand it. That's a very vital one that we'll talk about. It said there is also an agreement you need to have with the new spouse who has young children living with their ex. So this woman or this man is coming, I want to marry this man, I want to marry this woman, and he has children with their ex. Usually men, their children are usually with their ex, and for us women, sometimes our children are with our ex, however it is. But she's saying that we should know and discuss how the children will be cared for. Because a marriage ended and you're divorced doesn't mean you abdicate your responsibilities. You cannot abdicate your responsibilities. You have to still take care of your children. So, but you have to, these are things that causes issue. You cannot just assume I'm the man or the woman. No, know and discuss how the children will be cared for and child support given to the ex. Let's assume the child is not with your intended spouse. Maybe he has 2 children or 3 and they're with the ex. What are the child maintenance? How much will be going to these children every month? You have to state it. You cannot just enter married, then he will see you giving 1,000 pounds this one, give 1,000 month that one. I remember there's a couple that caused trouble, and the spouse realized that the husband has an account and he was paying to those children, and she really got angry and said, go and open an account for my own children to start putting the same amount of money. And then the man was out of pocket. So let's plan this thing. So full disclosure is very important. How many children have I got responsibilities for? These are my bills. You can't say, oh, because you got previous marriage, then the new marriage must suffer. And at the same time, you can't say because you're entering a new marriage, the previous relationship must suffer. The previous children, we don't have anything to do with the ex, but the children are your responsibility. You have to take care of them. Either way, whether a man or a woman. So full disclosure is very important to prevent marital problem that would definitely occur if you do not treat an ex-wife or ex-husband children, if you don't treat them very, very well. Thank you so much for that, Anu. Please, anyone that wants to comment along the way, please drop that in. We'll flag it and we'll discuss. That's very, very handy. So that's very important. So as I was saying, inheritance can be complicated, and then when we're embarking on second marriages, it's more complicated. So it means that if you die, now listen, that's what people want to hear. People don't like hearing that, but that was a question that was asked. If you die or anything happened to you, your assets will automatically pass on to your surviving spouse. Listen and listen carefully. That's second marriage and inheritance. So if you don't tidy things very well, you are dead. God forbid you will not die before your time. Whether it is 100 years or 200 years, you will die. Well, it has been appointed unto man to die once. After that is judgment. Well, it's inevitable for any man. But we just pray that we'll fulfill the numbers of our days and destiny in Jesus' name. So if you die in a second marriage, so you were married before, you got 10 houses, you got businesses that is doing well, you've got things, assets, and then you enter a second marriage, your asset automatically passes on after your demise, after you pass on to your surviving spouse. That is the law. So this usually brings complication when you have children from previous relationship. Now listen, their father has this company that's doing well, or has this business, or has this money, or has this house and is doing well, and he has 3 children, or he has 4 children. Now he remarries another person. God forbid he or she dies. Do you know those children, the asset is theirs because they were living together. Their father bought it for them. We don't know that. That's their life. If he decides that, okay, this belongs to us, then he has to be written. He has to be explicit then things have to be done. So, but if you have children from previous marriage, you certainly almost want them to receive, that's what I'm saying, an inheritance in the event of your death. Let's assume you have children, maybe you and your spouse had already worked hard and you've got houses or you got things, and then something happened in future, you go and you've already remarried. It would be unfair for your children that have been part of you, that labored with you, or their mother or their father left those things for, not to. So it's not automatic, okay, you're married, maybe you're a widow or divorcee or whatever, and you and your husband or your wife had already worked so hard to get some things, or you worked so hard. But I'm just saying how unfair it gets sometimes. And then this is for you and your children, and then you remarry and you pass on. It's unfair if your children don't get anything from you, because it will automatically go to your new spouse. So on remarry, your children and any grandchildren will not automatically receive anything out of your hard-earned assets. Ordinarily, your assets will pass to your new spouse and their children. It is like that, rather than any children you have. So for the sake of those, because those that ask me question, I see you online, this question deals with that. So if you remarry and you don't set things right, your asset automatically does not go to your children. It goes to your new spouse and his or her children without coming to you and your grandchildren, especially if you have grandchildren. So you will now need to take steps, and that is the essence of tonight. You will need to take steps to ensure that your wishes are honored with a new will. Remember at the beginning I said that when you have a will before marriage, the new marriage invalidates that will. Write it down very well. So I have a will as I was single. I have a will with my previous husband or previous wife and whatever. Or I don't have a will as it is. It is important to think of doing a will, because will is your voice when you are not there. So you need to take steps to ensure your wishes are honored with a new will. So if you leave your estates, that is your belongings, your assets, everything about your assets and liabilities are estates of a man. It's called estate when you're gone. So if you leave your estates to your surviving spouse, it automatically become part of their asset on your debt. So if you just leave things hanging, and now look at what mess you cause, trouble between your children, his children, her children, family. You just cause unnecessary mess because we do not tidy. You see, and that is the reason why some people don't want to go into second marriages. But that's not enough not to go. It's just that you have to plan. You can't say, I've had people that say, I will not remarry. I will not remarry, Pastor. No, you will remarry. It's not good for a man to be alone, because you fall in once and then doesn't mean you'll fall again. And because we've had all these stories of how bad things are and how complicated things are, we just automatically assume that, this is not for me again. No, it is for you. It's good to find love, but it's just for us to be transparent and do things right. So if you leave your estate, if you just leave things open like that, you just fall in and out of love, it automatically becomes assets to your surviving spouse after that. So legal advice is essential, ensuring your children's inheritance is protected. After all, the Bible says a good man leaves the inheritance for his children's children. So if you worked hard and you've left something for your children, it is important. If you are not remarrying, or if you're divorced or widowed and you don't want to remarry, you don't necessarily need to. I tell people, you may not necessarily do will. You can just do your life insurance, which is another issue on its own. We have to talk about it. I'll try and talk about it. I'll talk about wills and trusts now, and then I'll touch base on life insurance. So these are areas that we have to look into, and this is applicable to, even if you are not going to second marriages, wills and trusts and life insurance cut across everyone. But the other one, prenuptial, it's important for you to do if you're going to second marriage. And then the wills and trust. I remember I was speaking to the Christian. She was like, prenup is for unbeliever. I said, hey, your dream. Okay, call me when it's that time. I'll be here. It's not for unbeliever. Yeah, it's not that we don't trust ourselves, but it just makes things very simple. It makes things very clear. And you don't necessarily, like I said, you don't necessarily need to draft it. You don't necessarily need to. I don't think I want to do that, but speak about it. Have that understanding, and everyone be very plain. Let's not play games at this time. It's very good to be played. So, wills and trust. So, when you marry, like I said, I mentioned that, but I'll just highlight it and hammer on it again. When you remarry, any existing will become null and void. It will be invalid once you remarry. I've said that. So if you are remarried, go and revisit and validate your will. You have to do it and go and change your will. Go to a solicitor. I'm not doing this. I don't do wills and I don't do it. So I'm not talking because I want you to. I do immigration. I don't. I have so much on my sleeve that I don't have time for all this. But I'm just doing this for you so that I don't practice family law. So I don't have the time and energy for it. So I'm not giving you this lecture because after now you come and meet me and say, Pastor, if you ask, I don't know, I will not even recommend a solicitor to you. Go and Google and look in your vicinity or your area and look for a family law solicitor and go and get one done. So I'm saying it just as a goodwill, no strings attached. So when you remarry, any existing will you becomes void. It's therefore important to write a new will, like I said, with a solicitor to ensure that your wishes will be honored. And if I've explained before, I'll explain again what are wills. Wills are your voice. And then because you've written a will today, doesn't mean there's something called codicil. At any point, let's assume you've written your will. Let's assume you married today. Go and make a new will tomorrow, or as soon as possible, practicable. And once you've done that, it doesn't mean, okay, I've made a will in 2022 now or 2021 now. That will, I can't change anything. No, you can always update your will, and it's called codicil. You go there at any time, and then you had it. Oh, I've got another house, I've got a grandchild, I've got a new baby, I've got this and that and that, and or your assets have increased, or even your liabilities, you had it rate. This is the way. So it doesn't. So people don't want to do will because they think, if I do will now, you do will. You can always change your will, but make sure that it is enforceable after it is done. You should consider what assets you want your new spouse to get. Don't be selfish and say, oh, because I've worked, you remember it's still your spouse. And write a will and say, if God forbid I pass on, or chase her out of the house, chase him out of the house is not good. Chase, no. You still be generous to each other because you love each other. But just clarify how you want things to be done. And most of these things, talk about it, whether openly or just, I think you should be open about it out of love. We are all believers, we're children of God. So you should consider what I say. Gone where the days people believe that when they've done with, they know they are will. People don't want to do it because they will see me and they'll come and kill me. That's the fear. And then we keep it. Yeah, when you do your will, obviously it has to be with your solicitor. It's not something that you leak out or you show to them and everything, but let your spouse know that you got a will. You don't necessarily need to say the name of the solicitor. And if you do, there's confidentiality, the content will not be revealed. It depends on the instruction you have given. So you'll do the will, and then you enumerate or kind of list how you want things to be done. So you can always use trust as well, during your will. So you should consider assets you want your new spouse to receive, as well as children you have or children. Remember, the children from your new spouse too automatically becomes your children. They're your stepchildren. So whether you like it or not, they are still your children. So you have to cater for them if you will. It's not compulsory, but it is essential, because they're your children as well. Anything you want to give, any goodwill gift, everything is in your will. It's just the way that, God forbid, if I leave tomorrow, I sleep tomorrow. This is what I want to do, and this is what, and that brings peace. Your wife or surviving spouse or will not start fighting themselves, and then Romila and Ayelala, they will start calling all this trash just because things are not done properly, and then somebody will assume that that's the way they want things to be done. So you can use trust. People don't understand that you can use trust to provide as well for your surviving spouse and your children or beneficiaries in the event of your death. That is very important. A trustee will prevent inheritance tax. So once you have your will, it's always good to have a trustee, so somebody of good standing, one or two, to say, if I'm not there, let this person administer things. That person does not have invested interest, in this thing. So I want this person to be my trustee. It's good sometimes when you make two, two people, somebody some years ago, I advised the person, I said, try and have it will sorry, try and have life insurance, which I'll go to in a minute. And the person, was reluctant. I said, do it. And when the person did it, I said, I have a trustee. And she wanted me. I said, yes, I can be your trustee, but you will not be around at that time. I want us to be two. Get somebody else from your previous church that do not know me, so we can't connive. Get me the name. They got me the name, and two of us are the trustee. Listen now, the person passed on, intestate, no will and everything, but we are there to safeguard. So I just can't call the person. It's inevitable has happened. This is we are trustees. We have to hold this in trust for the family. We know the person has children, so we hand it over. So trustees are very good. Look for two people that are good standing. Don't use one, so that because you are not there, if you just use one, if they don't have the Spirit of God. When I did it for her, I know I will hand it over, but she will not be there. But I don't want my name to be soiled. I said, don't worry, I need somebody else. Make us two. Let's be transparent about it, so that we get it together. This is how much it is, transparency, and that's what we've done so far. So it's necessary to have a trustee, in place, so that things can be done after you've gone. Finally, I want to talk to us about life insurance. Please, if you have any question, drop it. I don't want this to be long. I intend to finish I've been speaking by myself for the past 52 minutes. I intend to, not that if you ask questions, I will not answer, but I don't want us to leave it to a very, very long time. And then we will now be the 10:30, then question will start rolling in. Please drop your questions now. When you're asking questions, you may not necessarily be asking it for yourself. I'm not saying this for myself, but I'm saying it. So let's get out of our ignorance. Let's just be free and ask questions. You may know somebody that this will be handful and very helpful for, and then just ask questions, or they're going through things. I'm going to highlight Anu's comments. Please drop your comments. Anyone ask questions now? Yeah. Okay. So it says Nigerian men need to be educated on the importance of will and trust. Thank you very much. It is very important. Excuse me. Our Nigerian men, they're so funny. Even life insurance. Life insurance. Let's go to life insurance. We'll talk about life insurance, will and trust. Please get a life insurance in place. It makes things easy for us. Our Nigerian people, please. I was speaking with a gentleman the other day recently, and we're talking about a particular man that's working. That man is in his, I think, early 60s. They said the way this man is working and juggling life and the stress is going through, we see things like that. People just drop dead without no life insurance. It is only God that guarantees tomorrow. But there are little things that you put in place that, your children will not cost you your grave. I'm telling you, your children will not cost you your grave. I didn't cost my late off because he did life insurance, but it was too late. And there were non-disclosure of material facts, which are some health issues. So they didn't pay the insurance. So we're in a mess. We're messed up. So it's as good as so. And when you do life insurance, maybe I should just talk about that. Maybe one of these is I have to talk about life insurance. Like Anu said, our Nigerian men, there's too much shenanigans. We just do some things. I don't know who's pursuing us. I don't know who has bewitched us. I don't know what planet we are operating. I don't know whether we are being unrealistic. I don't know whether we are being myopic. I just don't know what world we have, especially our men. They are so difficult. I know a man that's so rich, so educated, that passed on, and then they couldn't lay hold of the wheel. It's so much in a mess. Why would you do that? What's the reason for doing that? Especially when you have when you have children, especially when your children are from 1 or 2, 3 women, 4 women, 5 women, polygamists especially, and even monogamists. Remember, they have the so-called brothers and sisters that are saying, "Brother, Mrs. Tammy, when you are not there, you see what's happening." So life insurance is very, very important. Get a broker or go online. You don't need to a broker. Go online. It doesn't mean you will die. Life insurance doesn't mean you will die. Because I've had that several. Oh no, my dear, God is good. That is God forbid. God is my insurer. We know, but it has been appointed you will die one day. So let us make provision. Take care. God told Ezekiah, to go and tidy his home. He gave him time. Tidy your home. Tidy things. Includes, make sure that he gave him, because if he had died there, he tested, katakata will have busted. Pardon me and my Nigerian Spanish tonight. I think there's going to be a lot of palavas. There's a lot of bruja, palavas, a lot of issues that will have gone wrong. Messy stuff. But God said, go and tidy. So it's necessary when we're in our 40s, get a life insurance. And in this life insurance, please be very open. If you have blood pressure, write it there. Because what happens is those things invalidate. It's called non-disclosure. Let me tell you something. Insurance companies don't like to pay. So they always look for reasons why they will not pay. And they will write your GP. Immediately you are gone and they notify them they are gone, they will call for your medical record. So, and they wrote there that, in 2004, she has this issue. Even if it's headache you have, listen, it does not make them not to cover you. They will cover you. But we say, I don't want them to know that I have blood pressure. Is it computer or somebody behind the desk that knows you? It's just like going to your doctor and you are lying. You're deceiving yourself. If you have headache, they'll give you a medicine for stomachache. So when you get there, say it. Life insurance, how many children you have. If you have several children, write it there. Write the names of your children. Write your illnesses or your diagnosis. If you're going through still expecting, just write it. If they will not accept your claim, they will not accept your claim. Wait until they accept your claim. You will find one. There's always an insurer for any circumstances. There is. So make sure you have life insurance. Our men, do your will. And then let your life insurance cater for little things. At least there's no money you leave for anybody that can become anything, but it gives them that head start. It gives your wife or your husband that, somebody is still mourning. I've been through it, so I know how it is. For the first year, I was like, I can't even say. I didn't know where I was. I was destitute with 2 children, no hope, no hope of going nowhere. I don't even know where I was going to start or end or finish, because I was it threw me out of balance. It was unexpected. It messed me up completely. Thank God for God. Thank God for His grace. Thank God for all the things I'm doing. Thank God for enablement, empowerment. But what I'm trying to say, let things not get messy. So do your life insurance. Cover yourself, even if it's basic one. The money we use for McDonald's, sometimes £15, £20 in a month, sometimes £30, sometimes £40. These are money we give out to people anyways. So do it, get it. Don't stop being selfish. Protect that woman, protect that man. In case of anything happen, give them head start. They are mourning, they are messed up already, but that will be a little thing, roof over their head, a little extra. Children will still be able to maintain their accommodation. They will be able to go to school. At least we'll help them for the next year or so. And then they'll pick up from there, because being bereaved takes about 16, 18 months, at least to 2 years before you get your bearings right. But with all those things, so the last thing you want to do is, start, complication about thinking about finances. But once that is resolved, they're mourning, but at least they're thinking, God bless our father, God bless our mother. So then another thing that we're talking about, as we're rounding up, is the will. There's no question tonight. If there's any question, I give you 5 minutes to write your questions, because we're going to round up. So The like I know said, our Nigerian men, will is very, very important. It's tidying your house, and when you have trustees, it makes them administer your things properly. It makes the money go to the rightful hand. It makes you do things in a good way, especially if you have young children and then you're not sure of things, or maybe you are not sure if this man or this woman will take care. It's good to have a trustee. So put it in a trust account so that once the money goes, and then when it's in a trustee's account or trust account, you don't pay inheritance tax. There are a couple of things. So it's very, very important for women, Nigerian men especially, let us tidy our home. I said to a man at some point that the wife did life insurance for several years and he refused to do life insurance. I told the woman, I said, go and cancel your own life insurance too. He's a selfish man. And it's very true. It's a two-way thing. Both of you must do your life insurance. I protect you, you protect me. Why would I do a life insurance? When you do your life insurance, peradventure you don't know. You're covering your life so that some other people can feed off you. That's it. So I insure my life that, God forbid, when I go, my spouse and my children will be better off. So why would my spouse leave me open? That is it. It's selfish. Like, Nigerian men don't think about it. Most Nigerian men, their wives has insurance, but they don't have. So if the woman passes on, you now sit and cross your leg and you spend money. Meanwhile, if you pass on, they will chase her. Your family will chase her. And then you put her in a mess. And that is the essence. It happens so much every now and then in our community and our society. So if you know you love your wife, if you know you are a child of God, if you know you are a believer, tidy your home. If you actually love your wife and your children, or your wives, if you're a polygamist, let's be very factual. I'm not saying you should marry several wives, but I'm not the one that puts in your circumstance whether you have wives, you're a polygamist, or what I'm trying to say, tidy the estates you're leaving behind, which includes your children. Tidy things up. A Christian should not have two wives anyway, but whatever, just tidy things. Write it down. Do a will to say this goes to A, this goes to B, and be fair with it. Don't be selfish. Don't think, okay, I'll use this to punish this. Be very fair. And one of the things some people are doing lately, when they have assets, I know a man that's done it, and a man has told me he's going to do his own. There's a man that's in 80, that's about 80 years old. Okay, I'm coming to that question now. So there's a man that's like 80 years old, and then at around 70 something, he had about 4 properties and then 3 children. He divided whilst he's alive. I think sometimes when the Lord blesses you with old age strength, by the time you are in your 70s, I think you should divide your estate. Call them, let everybody knows what is it. Give this to this, so that one, it doesn't I don't think it does. I don't think it's going to incur inheritance. That give it to them whilst you are still living, so nobody can fight. Yeah, Bumi, this is your home. Yeah, Fonsho, this is your home. Shufonsho, this is your home. Everybody enjoy it. If you like a prodigal child, go and then best do anything you like. That is your home. That way, everybody knows ourselves. We're all looking at ourselves. But if you don't have the liver for that, a man is saying to me already now, he wants to sell his 2 homes, give it to his children, and then he wants to continue to live in one and just be at peace. So when he goes, nobody, no drama. You see, let's avoid drama. Let me take this. Anu said, in a situation that life insurance is one-sided, can your children be the only beneficiary? Wow, that's a very good one. It's if you are married, it can be. And if you're, that's why will is important. Your children can be the only beneficiary if you have a will. If you don't have a will, that's what we're saying. Every proceed from your estate goes to your surviving spouse. They won't give it to the children. So that is why it is essential when you are in a marriage, second marriage, do your will. Especially if you are not sure of what this woman or that man is up to. Just go and do your will. It settles how you want things. So if it's one-sided, your children may not be the only beneficiary because it will be given to him as a surviving spouse, and it's at his discretion to divide it the way he wants. So for all you care, your children may not even get out of it. But if they are old enough and if they are benefit, if you have written clearly, that's why trustee is important as well. Say you're it's one-sided like that, and you're married and you have, even if you don't have a will, you have that life insurance, and then you've written the beneficiary in it to say, God forbid, if I pass on my estate, or the payment should go to this and that and that. You've written into it, and it's good to have a trustee, because it is that trustee, is the trustee they will give. They will not give it to your spouse, even if you have him. But if you don't, your life insurance automatically goes into the estate. It goes into the estate, and the law is the surviving spouse takes it. So he administers it the way he wants. It goes to him. So that's why it is important for you to do if you're doing life insurance, make sure you have a trustee and list the beneficiaries on it, and the money will go to the trustee. So, but the danger about that is if you pick two bad trustee and they connive together and they carry your money, you will not be there, and you'll not give the children. But I don't think two people of good standing, you will not pick anybody. Obviously, you will know people that have good standing over the time. Get those two people to say, you and, or three, it can be three, it can be four. The only thing is the implication about that is if the person passes on, if there are two or three, they will not be able to issue a check on one person's name. So they could ask the three of them or two of them to go and open a joint account specifically for the purpose of the payment. So the check will be issued, like this one that I'm a trustee for, the check will be issued in my name and the name of that person. Obviously, it's easier if it's one person, but I suggested it that, I'm not your family member. I will not be around. You will not be around at that time. I don't want my name to be sold. Give me another person. That person is in London. So both of us. So now, if the check is going to be issued, because I'm talking of a case that the corpse had not been buried. This is still fresh. It happened less than 2 months ago. So the name, the check will be written in both of our names. We'll open a joint account, then we'll cash it out and give it to the named beneficiaries, who are the children of the deceased. So that's the way it is. So if it's one-sided, it's only maybe it's only one, maybe the wife or the husband that has the life insurance. If there's no trustee in place, it will go to the husband. But even if there's no trustee and there's a will that says when you pass, or when I pass, my life insurance should go to this, so it will be so. If there's a surviving, that will covers that. And that's the power of a will, because the power is of a will is just your voice. When you're not there, that this is the way I want it to be done, or the trustee, I've given it to this trustee, I know that they will administer my estate the way I want. So sometimes when you don't want to do a will, I think you can use a trustee, but it doesn't cost much to do. I don't know how much they charge nowadays, but it's good to Google and then look for a professional. Let it be well drafted. And I suppose we've done that. We've covered as many things as possible tonight. So if there's any more question, like I said, in a minute or two. So remarriage is good. Don't be discouraged from remarrying. Okay, there's a question. Thank you, sir. Mr. Samuel Lawanson, bless you, sir. Should premarital counseling for second marriage be considered for those who are going into it? Oh, wow, that's interesting. That's very interesting. Can anybody answer online before I answer that? That's very interesting. Anyway, whether people are answering or not, pre-marital counseling, whether you are going to first marriage, second marriage, third marriage, it is a must, I feel. It is a must, because remember, there are things you know and the things she doesn't know. There are things she knows and you do not know. Premarital, when we're in love, sometimes romance kind of oh, thank you. I know answered. He said yes, of course. So they've answered you. Everyone online said yes, of course. Happiness said yes, it's necessary. And then Anud said it's absolutely necessary. Premarital. You say, I'll give you a story of a couple that I counseled a couple of years, over 4 years ago. The man actually is a second marriage, and I think they're over 4 years now, blossoming. I joined them together. I said it's one of those marriages I've joined that they were so enthusiastic about getting things right. The man flew from another part of the country in those days, and he will come to my office, and both of them. I said, okay, because you are not in UK, let's squash. He said, Pastor, don't squash it for us. I will come. He came like thrice. He said, it was supposed to be 12 weeks. You see, there's nothing we're rushing. It depends on your counselor. I like, because each topic, like finance is one, in-laws are one, sex is one. A lot of things have there are numerous topics that we talk after marriage. And then what I've introduced again is 6 months post-marital, because one of the issues that we do premarital counseling, we just throw them in. They find out that for 6 months, there's some things that comes up. So I always bring them back after 6 months to say, let's quickly nip it in the bud. What are the issues? And it was helpful. And I thank the Lord for this couple. So I use them as a kind of example for other people. So one of the things is it's very important. Okay. Mr. Samuel said, I absolutely agree with all the answers. The point of premarital counseling for second marriage is really all about helping those involved find healthy ways to live together and deal with any difficulties that come up along the way by understanding each other better through open communication and mutual respect. Spot on, sir. QED. It's very, very important because remember, in our old marriages, it's as bad as when we're going to the first marriage, we are naive. We don't know much. So premarital counseling is good to highlight and teach us some of these things, and we'll talk through it, the expectations, and prepare for it. Now, second marriages, bad lessons, bad manners. Maybe you are such quiet person and your previous spouse used to talk we picked on bad issues about money. Some people are so dodgy. So you've learned to defend yourself. We pick back. It's just like somebody that's been doing your own driving school, do your own thing, and you want to go to proper driving license, they'll tell you, uncle, auntie, first drop all this, your bad manners. Let us teach you. So that's why it is very essential. It is very necessary for both of you. In fact, it is more needful for second marriages because you want to get things right. You are bringing baggages. You want to think, like Anu said, how you are dealing with your in-laws, how you are dealing with children from the marriage. What are the do's, what are don't, things like maintenance, child maintenance, children's school, some paying alimony for divorce and a lot of things. You want to put everything down, be transparent, and a counselor, a Christian counselor, we dealing with family there. What are the boundaries, the kind of marriage we want? How much do we have to marry? I will not say because we want to do elaborate marriage. My husband is not rich or my wife is not rich. My wife is a salary earner. I'm rich and now we have to waste money. We have to consolidate things. She may be the one that says, I want a society marriage. He's saying, I don't want a society marriage. Will come in between. So all these things causes a lot of issues. So let's thank you so much, sir. That's very good and helpful and handy. Mr. Brahman, I know you always come at a quarter to go and then you start asking questions. I know, Luapo, yes, your children can be the only beneficiaries, even relating to trust deeds. Okay, he's an insurance broker. So once there's trust deed, like I said, your children can be. Thank God that Mr. Brahman is insurance broker. It's a renowned insurance broker. It's my broker. So I won't lie, I don't lie here. It's my broker, so and he's a lawyer and he's a Christian as well, and he's insurance broker. So I know that when it comes to him, he will treat you well and he will guide you and give you the good advice. So your children, like he said, can be if there's trust deed. And that's why I kept saying trust is important. When there's a trust deed in place, it guides you and then it makes the money go to the rightful owner. Otherwise, it's your surviving spouse. Okay. I think on this note, if there's no more questions, so let's do premarital counseling. Prenuptial arrangement is good. Talk about these issues. Don't shy from them. That is life. Let's protect ourselves. Let's love ourselves and let's do things well. Okay, they have started. They will not ask questions since. When it is time for me to go, I'll start charging from next week. Question time, £5. Now that my iPad is broken, I need to. So, Mr. Samuel, I need a new iPad. I'm only joking. No, let's crack on. Right. The biggest benefit of a second marriage is gratitude. Wow. Whatever the reason for a divorce, finding love again and exchanging vows feels like a second chance. Many couples are determined to do everything they can to make things work next time around. While not every second marriage is guaranteed, a couple can thrive. Having survived a failed relationship, these newlyweds appreciate the chance they've been given to do things the right way this time. Thank you. Is those that their head are, there are some people their head are just all over the place. They just want to, the euphoria of just marriage and the excitement is what they don't think. Oh, you are just saying this your big English and grammar because I think you understand more. Like and you said, sir, it's a gratitude. To be honest with you, if the Lord gives you the opportunity of a second chance. Marriage is sweet. I feel it's a time for you to really do things right. You've seen your weaknesses, you've seen your strengths, and you must go at all costs. There's maturity. I always say to people, marriage is that we will tell ourselves. I remember at some point, my first marriage, the shame is gone. I said to you at one point, after I think second child, I said, if you think I'm going nowhere, you are joking and you are not going anywhere. We are stuck for life. It's either we finish ourselves in this house, but our head has to be correct. So let's just make our life better for ourselves. We are stuck in this house together. Let's just be happy. And then we start getting happy. And to be honest, it's a simple arithmetic. Look at yourself and say, see, you cannot get rid of me, and I will not get rid of you. So we are stuck. So we better make it work and make ourselves. So we start working on, despite that we have issues. But when you think there's a way out, or to see it as a gratitude of God giving you an opportunity to do life again. So enjoy it. Do everything that is possible that will make you each other's best friend and enjoy. That's just it. So thank you so much, sir. I love that. Thank you, Pastor. Oh, thank you, Anolu. Thank you, my darling friend from Tepe. Right, Adedo, every divorcee needs to hear this. Very insightful. Thank you. Oh, God bless you. I appreciate that, ma. God bless you, ma. Now, Mr. Ibrahim, sorry, just joining. You can't just join us at this time. Secondary counseling is good for second marriage. However, are we sure our people will not do microwave marriage arrangement? Which one is microwave and hair fryer arrangement? Me, I don't know which one is hair fryer arrangement. Mr. Ibrahim, you are here again. Basically, counseling is good. To be honest, yeah, I know a girl been married at some point that they did whatever just be real. Remember something. You are not marrying for people. You are marrying for yourself. This is your life. So be open about it. Otherwise, don't sweep. If you sweep things under the carpet, it's going to mess up. So be prepared. Don't do microwave. Don't do hair fryer one. Or I don't know, whatever name you want to call it again. The most important thing is let us be open. Let us know that this must work. People are watching, even for the sake of your children. Please, let's do things well. Thank you. Second marriage requires sacrifice from both parties, especially because of the assets and liabilities baggage being brought in. That's very good. It needs effort, it needs transparency, it needs openness, it needs discussion, it needs prayer, generational prayer. You need to pray into your roots, you need to pray against mistakes, you need to pray, and you need God's direction, and you need openness and communication, and then come to a place of transparency, and then be able to say sorry. That's one thing I find out. Just own up and say sorry. It won't cost you nothing. Just say it. Accept responsibility and be reliable. Thank you. Mr. Lawasi said you will surely get a new iPad before next program. Reverend Dolly. Amen. Thank you. Amen. Look forward to receiving it soon. Hey. Amen. That's why I said ask and you shall be given. See my iPad now. My iPad just messed up in the middle of my prayer. He did that for me on Sunday. It's still working though. but it's just jumping, jumping, jumping. And then it will just delete everything within the course of the program. Thank you, sir. God bless you. Okay. Thank you. That's very, oh, bless you for once. Thank you so much. See, Mr. Brimo, you are not nice. See, Mr. Lawrence is, I don't know whether it's him or whether it's so into my life or prophesying into my life. Anyway, the prophecy is I will get a new iPad before next Wednesday. And I receive it in Jesus' name with thanks. Thank you so much. Anyone that makes it happen, thank you. Mr. Brahma. Okay, good evening, Mommy Ade. Ajoke Ade, bless you. Mr. Brahma said microwaving. Oh, you are here again. Microwave involves bole kaja, quick one, with little due diligence. At is quick, quick, quick. Yeah. Yeah. I was speaking with a gentleman actually, and we're speaking about actually it was a pastor last week. And the question was asked, how long should courtship be before marriage? And this is a very intricate question. Over the time, it's good to have 1 year courtship, 2 years. To be honest with you, 1 year courtship for me, I feel is the max. Anything you don't make up your mind in 1 year, you can't make up your mind. The person is unserious. If after a year the person is still telling you, I'm still thinking about it, let us to be watching it, you watch it on the 10 years, the time waster. You just be in the same spot. And then men or women has a way of making you feel guilty, say you're not patient, you're not giving me enough time, no, it's a lie. Give another 1 year, you still be in the same story. It doesn't take you a month or two to make up your mind. Now, logistics could now delay things to put things like the counseling we are talking, like issues, those can now delay it. Logistic, maybe parents are not around, you're waiting for something or whatever. But it doesn't matter. I've seen a man of God that married within 1 month. He said they saw themselves within a week. They realized this is my life partner. Pastor Tayo Ajibade is on Facebook. He wrote it there. He said, I think within a month or so, they married, or 2 months, and in fact, their love inspires me. So it's about marriage is effort. If you use 2 years to cut, and then you get complacent when you marry, you'll be out of marriage. Marriage is two selfless lovers coming together to make it work, to dedicate their time in prayer, in courtship, in love, and in spark your marriage. Make sure there's a lot of sparkle. Work hard on it every time. You'll be married. But if you say, oh, because of everything, cut 1 year, you may not know somebody. If somebody will pretend for you for a year, the person will pretend. And if you meet the right person that will just be open and say, this is it, it will happen. So whether it's a year or 1 month or 6 months or 8 months, 8 months, make sure you go through counseling. Hidden things are reviewed. There's a time in the 12 weeks, or it depends, some churches do 6 weeks. I like thorough because in the course of it, I give you time. It's not all the 6 weeks that we'll be doing lecture. It will be intense lecture of like 8 weeks. In the course of it, there will be 3 days fasting and prayer. There will be time for us to wait on the Lord for revelation. We'll come back again. We give ourselves time. There's a course of planning. It is a course of counseling that will plan the nitty-gritty of the wedding. We'll speak to the parents and everything to ensure that everything is in place. It's just, and it's the final one that will do the rehearsal and everything. So it's a course of 12 weeks, 3 proper months of making sure in and out of it. We'll talk about these things at least once. And nowadays, there's no Zoom. People have to come on site. Now there's Zoom. You can do all these things on Zoom, but make sure you're open and transparent, and then the Lord will bless us. Thank you so much. And I'm going to round up. What about if person is on the mountain for Mr. Brimo? I don't know what to say. What about if a person is on the mountain for 5 to 6 years to hear from above before he or she can go ahead? How many years did you go on mountain before you marry Sister Funmi? Answer the question. Go and write it there in the box. Before you marry your wife, how many years were you on the mountain? Any man that is going on the mountain for you for 5 or 6 years will continue to be in the mountain 60 years, will not make up his mind. It's a lie. There's no mountain anybody's going. He said he was on the mountain for 8 years. You're your own. And this note I'm going to round up tonight. If we leave it to this our Mr. Brahimo man, he will not allow us to go. You know, Mr. Brahimo, I will talk to you after the show. The Lord bless you. Thank you so much, everyone. On a more serious note, please watch this again. Share it with your friends and family. Just share it on your platform. It's going to help somebody. Most of us, when we're in love, we do things wrong. We're so excited. We're not transparent. And some of us shame. Um, some of us shame because we don't want our spouse to remember, this is the person you want to marry. It is the person you want to marry. And whether you like it or not, you can't hide from them. This truth will come out and then it will become an issue. So talk about it. Talk about everything. Talk about it. Protect yourself. Ask them, what kind of protection do you want? It's your wife. It's your husband. What would you want? You don't necessarily just discuss about it. You disagree, you agree. Just let make this. Look at the things of children. You may want to bring two different children together and there's no time, or they are not, there's no space for them, or their orientation differs. You may think, okay, we're going to do this arrangement until the children will go out of the house, and then there's a lot of things, or there's several things. I can't be saying it. There's so much that we think about. When children are involved, we don't drag children along, and we don't force them to like a woman or force them to like a man. This is your daddy, whether you like it or not. And then it's a case of when daddies, they start doing things. One said, and that's why some men don't want to marry women that have children, because one man told me that he went to the woman's house that her children are taller than him, and if he was scared, if they can even punch him. Then one said one day he was in the house, he was watching TV, and then the boy is taller than him, bulkier than him, and then he was watching TV, and the boy would just, those rude children, you just take, that's not nice. But anyway, we raise our children differently, and then the boy would just go there and just take, maybe the man is watching football. He said the mom would have gone out. He would just go there and he would just turn it to Cartoon Network and sit down like this. I'll be watching. The man said, sometimes he would just look at, if I say anything, this one can give me a blow. He said there was a time he prepared food in the kitchen. He was about to, he just went to the toilet. Before he came, the boy has gone there and taken the food and eaten it. He couldn't do anything, but I think this is just rebellion. A lack of proper guidance. There's no communication. The children are rebelling. These are not. I think one of these days I have to talk to us how we go and carry our children along. I spoke to a woman at some point about her second marriage. She said, I said, have you sought the opinion of your children? I said, me? What? Am I seeking the opinion? No. I don't have to take permission from them. No, it's not taking permission from them. They are part of you. You need their consent. You need to warm them. You see, most of the time that these children rebel, it's our attitude. When you make children feel important, sit them down. Mommy is going to remarry. Daddy is going to remarry. What do you think about that? Warm them into the idea. And don't bring the man, bam, into the house. Let them hear about it. Let him come for lunch. Let you guys or her go and you go out. Don't just trust her and push her. Let her come and go, and then gradually, they become friends. They look forward to him. He buys them gifts. She buys them gifts. And these are natural. He warms up and everything. And they start seeing that person as a respectable father or mother figure. Then they won't rebel. But just they one day and say, this is your daddy. Which your daddy? This is your mommy. They'll tell you my daddy is in Abuja or my daddy is somewhere. So there, maybe one of these days I'm going to treat that as well. The pros and cons and how we deal with all these issues, so that will bring peace at the end of the day. The Lord of peace will be with us, and the Lord will help us. Mr. Brahma said he courted his wife for 8 years because you were a student. And that's not courtship now. You were just befriending yourself in uni. Go and sit down. Back in Nigeria, the man will have given the boy a dirty slap. No, which dirty slap? In UK, give them dirty slap. They'll call the police. There must be strategic easing of the man into the children's life. Thank you very much. That's a man speaking. You have to gradually, he's still going to be their father, so they have to earn his respect, and he has to earn, their support as well. So the Lord of peace help us. Maybe that's a topic we have to do for another day. So please listen to this. We dealt about second marriages and investments, which includes prenuptial marriage, includes wills, includes life insurance, It's just about tidying ourselves and putting things in place before we go into second marriages. So the Lord, but second marriage is good, it's sweeter, it gives you a new chance of doing things well. So the Lord of peace will help us all. God bless us. Thank you so much. If you enjoyed this video, please share for me. Not because I need viewership. I don't take any dime from it, but I just like it because it is very helpful to family and is transforming lives. The Lord of peace help us and keep us and make his face to shine upon us. For as many that want the sweetness of a new marriage, the Lord give it unto you in the mighty name of Jesus. For you that you are going to difficult or turbulent relationship, the Lord will give you a way out and he will sort you out in the mighty name of Jesus. And for those in our first marriages, I decree and I pray your marriage will not break. Whatsoever is looming danger upon the age, the hand of the Lord will remove it in the mighty name of Jesus, and the blood of Jesus will prevail for us. Until next week, Wednesday, when I come back your way, I remain yours, Reverend Dolly. God bless you. Good night. Enjoy your love. Enjoy life and do life very well. Keep growing, keep shining. Love you all. God bless you.